You have questions, we have answers. This is Jane Muller.
And this is Ken Muller. Welcome to our show, all about real estate with Ken and Jane. Well, Jane, today we have a very special guest. We have Mayor Brad Cohen of East Brunswick with us. Mayor Cohen, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Jane.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule and very tiring schedule to be with us this Sunday.
Well, I appreciate your asking me to come today. I always like talking about the township.
Yeah, great. So before we talk about the township, we're going to talk about the national level and then get your opinion on how it's going to affect East Brunswick Township. As you know, this past Wednesday, Chairman Powell gave his speech, and as expected, I think he elected, the Fed decided not to raise the rate. They said that they were encouraged by the inflation coming down. They remain steadfast and determined to get the inflation down to the 2% level, which is their target goal. They still have work to do. He mentioned that they're acutely aware of the damage that inflation does to the consumers, especially those that need for food, transportation, and housing. So I wanted to get your take on if you think this is encouraging for our local market in Central Jersey and specifically East Brunswick.
Oh, absolutely, Ken. I think that anything that points in the direction that the economy is improving and that people can use more of their money for the things that they need to live on day in and day out is always a good thing for not only East Brunswick, but the community in general. But people sometimes forget in East Brunswick, we have a wide variety of people that live there and all different economic points. And so for a lot of people, that will make a big difference.
Right. And we're going to go a little bit out of order, but this is important. Since you mentioned that there's a wide diversity of people that live there, I want to put a mention in about the mayor's charity fund. That's something, I know you're not the chairman of it, but if you could talk about that, because that hits home exactly on the point you mentioned, that a lot of us are very fortunate to have jobs and live a very good economic and comfortable life, but there are those that truly need economic and financial support. So if you could please talk about your
Sure.
mayor's charity fund and what that's all
about. So the charity fund was set up a couple of years ago as a 501c3 nonprofit, and the purpose was to help recognize that in a town that's generally felt to be fairly affluent, that there are pockets of people and that really do have the need for additional help, or sometimes fall on hard times, whether it was COVID or a loss of a job or sickness. People sometimes fall in the background and fall behind. Mm-hmm. And our goal in government should always be to try to bring everybody back on board. And so the purpose of the charity is that since government can't always be responsible for being able to do that, that's where a lot of the charities and working as a community has a place. And so our goal in the charity was to help the individuals who, for instance, maybe lost a job and now there's a roof needs to be fixed and they need help doing that. But when they get their job back, they'll be in a better position. Or the kid that doesn't want to admit that he can't really play for the football team or when we have hockey. Yes. The equipment's very expensive and maybe there's families that can't afford that. We don't need everybody in the world to know who they are. They can come to us and we'll be able to provide that type of support for them so that everybody feels that as a community we're giving everybody an opportunity to participate.
Mm-hmm. And sure, and you raise money obviously through the fund through donors, and you have some events, typically mainly the East Brunswick, your mayor's
the
gala. But there's throughout the year, people can always contribute to the
absolutely, and we also honor people each year who demonstrate those qualities. So we look for a male and female individual who demonstrates that philanthropic philosophy. We look for a nonprofit in the community that does that, as well as a business, because a community is really made up of residents, its businesses, and everybody that lives there. And there are people who stand out among them, and we feel that at this gala they should be recognized as well.
Right, and that's awesome. I guess if there's listeners out there that think they can apply, how would they go about contacting, getting information about that?
The easiest way to do that would be go onto the website, which is the Mayor Cohen's Charity Fund.
Sure.
And they will have online an application that could be filled out. It's private. It's only I don't even get to look at it. It's a board that is made up of about 6 people who review those and make determinations determinations and then distribute the awards if they're
Based on the entitlement.
based on the need.
With the mayor gala, it's always sold out so fast, right? Every year, I have people come to me say, Jane, do you have a ticket? I said, no, I don't. You just asked me 3 weeks before, really? You have to get on quick.
It's coming up soon. We're already almost in October. It's October 17th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
And it's sold out.
Sold out a long time before.
Yeah,
Next time, if you want to be part of it in the shuttle, beautiful shuttle, as soon as you see that news come out, register.
But the important thing for
Register.
listeners to also realize is it's not only about the attending the gala, which is a great thing because all the proceeds go to the charity, but you can donate all year round. Just like around Thanksgiving, everybody thinks about let's feed the hungry, but that's an ongoing hunger, poverty. Those are year round. They don't just go away. They're not just once a year events.
Right.
So it's
And then
like the mayor even encouraged this, even in the past. If you can think, we always welcome contributions and donors. And,
Absolutely, and there's a lot of nonprofits in town that are doing different things. We have
Yes.
the East Brunswick Education Association has the Bear Den, but that's pretty much geared towards the kids. East Brunswick Education Foundation, that's geared towards the schools.
Sure.
So this is really, and of course you've got the food banks, which geared towards everybody that is in need. But this goes beyond just food for all other type of needs that people
like you
may
mentioned,
have.
like roofing, housing, equipment to play a sport. So those are all things that
Essentials.
essentials that give
Mm-hmm.
the person the quality of life, and they can experience the things that other children can experience. That's we take for granted some things like having the equipment to play football or soccer or tennis. Those are all.
I know how expensive the racket was.
And you go through multiple rackets, and even hockey. I'm sure I'm a hockey fan, but I never played. But
the equipment's ridiculously expensive, and then the kids, grow.
That's the problem.
You got to buy a new one.
You know what? I have to say, Mayor, one thing, right? Being an East Brunswick resident, we are super proud of our community. We help each other. We're always out there to look after each other as one. So that's really, really one of the benefit qualities living in town, right? As the president of Education Foundation Board, Jack Levitt, always say, if you have money, if you're blessed with money, bring your checkbook. If you have a time, please come and help, set up, do whatever volunteer work, or if you have a talent, I'm sure you have one of those. If you can do multiple, great, God bless you. But if not, at least one thing.
That's 100%
The
right,
life
John.
is like, you're going to a dinner, right? If everybody go in, keep taking, it's going to be empty. If everybody bring a dish, whatever your favorite, even me don't cook, I may have one or two, right? Burn it. And people will appreciate it. And then you get most out of it. You enjoy, a lot of time you do volunteer work, you think, oh my God, I have to do this. But the joy, the satisfaction you get from it
I agree.
is
Right,
priceless.
It's very philosophical now. We're getting into that discussion, but I agree. A lot of people, the purpose for money for a lot of people is so you can donate. That's because that gives you the greatest, one of the great satisfactory feelings, the ability to donate and to give back to others. So that's
you're able to do that. You're blessed. You're able to do that.
Muhammad Ali said that the rent you pay on earth, charity is the rent you pay on earth for, your space here. Basically, you need to pay it forward.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're really looking to do, and we see a community that does that. I think it was there. COVID, I think, just showed that there were a lot of really incredible people in town that came forward and provided an opportunity to help others. And you're right, they're there. It doesn't always have to be about money. It could be about time. It could be about your talent. But they're there, and they stepped up to the plate.
Yeah,
I'm proud of that.
We're all stronger when we work together for the.
Yes.
That's when because everybody has different talents, and that they all come together for the benefit of the town. We're amazing together. Togetherness is key. So,
Okay, let's talk about East Brunswick.
Let's talk about East Brunswick a little bit. So, in your opinion, if somebody came to you and a resident came to say, why should I live in East Brunswick? Why should I choose East Brunswick? What would you tell them?
Well, Jane could probably answer that for me because
I
she has people
every day weekend. Every weekend I do that.
That's right. But
I think the number one reason that people have
We're the
always
center of the
sought
state,
out.
so, hey.
Well, we are the center of the state, statistical
Yes.
center of New Jersey. So we're located location has always been a blessing.
So you're close to the shore, the city.
You
Everywhere.
can get everywhere. The city, Philadelphia, Boston, and D.C. are 3 to 4 hour drives.
The train stations are right here, are accessible. The bus, we have one of the best. We have the
absolutely. So our location has always been a blessing. I think when people drill down and they start to look for homes and places to live, they're always concerned about schools. And we have had a top-rated school system for decades. That's not new. It's not a thing that comes and goes from year to year. We've been fortunate because the people that move there want that. And when parents want that, they demand it of the Board of Education and the people that they hire to administer the schools, and you get what you pay for. So our schools have always been a big draw. I think the other big thing, and we touched upon it just at the beginning, is the diversity of the township.
Right.
A lot of people like the idea that they're moving into a community where there's so many people from different backgrounds, whether it's their religion or their ethnicity. It brings an ability for people to work as a community and learn from other cultures. And I think that's what people like. They don't always want to be in places where they're the only one. I can understand that.
Otherwise, they'll go back to China.
Nor do they want to be among just their own. So I think the idea of having a community where everybody learns from each other's cultures makes for a stronger, more cohesive and enjoyable community to live in.
And it makes for great restaurants because with the cultural
everyone likes that,
diversity,
right?
You've got the different restaurants opening up to appeal to the culture, but other people like myself, I love Asian food, I love Italian food, I love
So we have all that.
We have that right at our.
So I think our businesses community is growing, which is another thing that brings with it. Just like you said, it's more than restaurants. It's all the other services that the people in our town requires really at our fingertips, and we're very lucky that way. And I think finally we often take it for granted, but safety.
Yes,
that's
a big
that is
concern.
a big issue for a lot of people because we hear around us all the time concerns about that. You see stuff on TV all the time, whether news media is overdoing it or not, but the fact remains that we all want the same thing. And it's a safe community.
Absolutely. And wasn't East Brunswick, if I'm not mistaken, the first or one of the first to implement the security within the schools?
Armed security.
Armed security within the schools.
Yes.
So that's right. That hits the nail on the head in terms of the safety.
Yeah. We've been doing that. I'm in, may she rest in peace, former Superintendent Joanne Magestro worked very closely with the township at that time of Columbine when this was the first time most of us heard about school shootings. And so we've been at the forefront and really pioneering in a lot of things that other schools didn't do. We did a while ago.
Took the initiative,
And the park is first class for East Brunswick.
Great park system.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every fall we go into the Hallenbeck Park, right?
There's
Dahlen
many parks, right?
Yeah.
There's many parks.
And we're looking to bring some more
I like
on board.
Bicentennial, go to Bicentennial.
We like that the Beaver Dam Park.
Yeah.
Our house.
Oh, but that has a lot of beautiful.
Beautiful.
Nobody, recognized that. You walk around the park and there's animals that don't even move out of your way.
I used to say that. Used to see humans. Hopefully, they're not too big animals. The black bears.
You think you're in Maine, right? When you look at the beautiful,
you don't have to have to drive upstate to.
That's right.
You really don't. And you look at some of these parks and you don't hear the turnpike. You don't hear cars.
So
you realize
beautiful.
you're still in East Brunswick.
Right. All right. With that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after these messages. Okay, welcome back to our show. We're joined today with our special guest, Mayor Brad Cohen of East Brunswick Township. So, Mayor, let's shift the attention now to the business growth. That's been a very popular thing in East Brunswick. You started the Chamber of Commerce, which has been a great success. If you want to talk about that and how the chamber went from basically a few member organization to what it is now, this big robust group of I think 260.
Ken, that was from zero.
Well, I
6 years ago. Now we are just past 6 years anniversary.
Right.
Go on strong on the 7th.
So and I think you were the integral force behind getting the chamber to form. I think there was a chamber at one point in the past, but then it kind of died out or fizzled out.
It died out, and I think there wasn't a lot of support for it from the township and the people themselves. It sort of became less involved. But I think when coming into office, one of the primary goals was to stimulate the business community, as well as turning around some of the properties on our major corridor, which I know we want to talk about.
And we're going to talk about that when you come back next.
Those are the two priorities. And the first step was to basically reignite an organization that had already existed. The business community is there. They just needed some place to get them tied together and then get support from the township. The fact is that residents are a big part of our community, but the business community is just as big and just as important. And we want to make sure that they felt welcome, involved, and that they had a voice in the government and that we heard them. And that was the easiest way to do that. And honestly, it really wasn't that hard because there was a lot of people, I think, that had this latent desire to do that. They just needed someone to form the connective tissue to get it to go.
Sure.
And it really just took off. A lot of very, very excited people were able to bring in other members, and it just has taken off on its own. And I think if you've got a good idea and you've got good people who are willing to put the time in to try to make something grow, you don't have to do all the work yourself. Once you get it started, you've kind of ignited something, and it's now going by inertia on its own because the people are happy. And frankly, while there may be times where there could be differences among people, but the chamber is pretty much a very cohesive group. They've grown, they support each other. And I think at the end of the day, what a chamber needs to be able to provide is value and benefit to the people that are members. Well, what is that value and benefit going to be? It's going to be referrals from other businesses. It's going to be maybe conferences or studies or groups where they could learn about opportunities to expand their business and grow, a social network.
Right.
And I think that that's exactly what we've seen it become. And I think the future is actually very bright because there's a lot of new companies that are moving into East Brunswick, and we've made a big effort to try to attract them there. So I'm hoping that
it will only grow in the future.
Exactly.
It's grown every year steadily, I think, for the last few years.
6 years now.
This will mark the 7th year, I think we're going into now.
Yes.
Our 7th year. As
almost 300 now. Almost 300.
Almost 300, right.
And that's really, I mean, I have to say the mayor is, too modest. I mean, you've been almost every meeting in the chamber.
Jane. He's been almost every meeting for
everything.
Everything. You're not being.
But that's
I'm
the
talking
job.
about the chamber.
No, but I mean, I'm saying that's why I said in the beginning, the mayor is a countless and it's a tireless. He's got the energy of an Energizer bunny because not only the chamber meeting, he goes to every monthly. The chamber meets for a networking breakfast.
Yeah.
They usually have events. They have the annual meeting, and the mayor. I haven't seen the mayor's been in almost in every single event unless he was
And you go to township meeting. You go to any event, any religious, any ceremony. Here's the mayor.
That's what I'm
job.
saying. And it's not only the mayor, also his staff. Rob is there. So the town is always represents the. Marks
not only mayor, you support the chamber. Also, all the development officer start with Jonathan. He was like at that time he would call. Everybody said you got to do this, you got this. He was really
well, I think it was
energetic.
key having someone in that position because if you're going to say that you want to improve the economic opportunities in the township, you got to prove that you mean it.
Yeah.
So putting someone in place, I can't do all of that myself. So you need to have someone who can do that. And we've been very fortunate, even though some of them have moved on to other jobs. But we've always managed to find somebody who really takes that role seriously and takes whatever they were handed and makes it better.
All three we had so far. Four. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Amy,
Jonathan,
Ken
Amy,
Armwood, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
And then Rob. They all wonderful. I have to say, you find really excellent people. They all very, very much support the chamber, support everything in town. So
exactly.
that was fantastic. Yeah, thank you. So thank you. Choose the right person.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the new businesses coming to town. We're all excited to hear that the Asian market is set to open, I guess, by the end of this year.
We're told.
We'll see how that
I've been doing this stuff. I'm a
but you
doctor.
never-
I'm not
you-
used to any of this stuff, and I'm always told that
You add another-
that you add time to anything that's done. I'm a surgeon. I am so unused to not getting things done immediately.
Yeah.
But real estate and these type of things don't always follow the same path.
And also, Wipro, the IT company, I understand, is
Yeah.
having its headquarters is now in East Brunswick.
In the towers.
In the towers,
The
yeah.
towers,
So those
yeah.
are two big
Yeah.
That was
businesses
big.
that are-
United Healthcare came in with a regional office to East Brunswick. So we've been able to attract some really top-notch businesses, and the goal is to continue to do that. We have more room in the tower. I think there's possibility of taking some property that's on Route 18 and maybe redevelop it into mixed commercial and retail space that might attract businesses like that, especially since we've now in the process of doing redevelopment
We're gonna
of
talk about that. That's gonna-
types of residences that are going to really enhance the highway, and those are the type of businesses and matched with the people that would be living in our own community that are either going to be here or already here that would be working for companies such as that.
Yeah, there'll be more space with the redevelopment, which we're going to talk about next week when you come back. But that's going to create more commercial space. Right?
Exactly.
I think 9,000 for the
Yeah.
for phase one, and then additional, obviously, for the additional phases of the redevelopment.
Yeah, with those all the new business and headquarters bring a lot of high level of the employees in town, so near the town. So that's gonna further help.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons that they look to East Brunswick.
Yeah.
If you talk to a lot of people that manage very large companies that are in either IT or healthcare or finance, what they really want is the workforce.
Yes.
They don't even penny pinch that much about the rent.
Rent, yes.
Compared to New York City, our rents are actually quite affordable.
Quite
Very
affordable.
But
Yeah.
what's available at them without needing to schlep people from across the country is the fact that we've got a talent pool
Yes.
that's like none other right here in East Brunswick and Central Jersey in general.
Near Rutgers definitely help.
We got a university in our backyard, an international airport that's not more than a half hour from
Half
here.
hour, Sure. yeah.
So we really have a great school system.
Yeah.
So when people want to consider where they're going to work,
Yeah.
they want to know where they're going to live, and that depends a large part on what type of school system.
Yeah.
So it all
And a
comes
great
together.
recreation, a great
Safety,
play system.
yeah,
with
yeah.
the parks, with the recreation, with the access to the
All
to
tied
the
in
shores.
together.
So it's all the
all-
work play, and
Right. So it all comes
Cool, comes
together
together.
right here.
Yeah.
And I think people are starting to notice that. And I think once we recognize that, then we can get behind even more these projects and recognize the value that they're going to bring to the township.
Yeah, and on the website on our website it says East Brunswick was hailed as one of New Jersey's 25 great towns. So that's
We like that. There's a lot of towns in New Jersey.
So that's
who
right.
Puts
So
us kind of at the top.
That's
which
at
is,
the top of tier, which is.
Does that really surprise you?
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Definitely they asked me for a survey. I would say the top 10.
I would say the top. I would say the top
You know,
five,
they asked the wrong people, I think.
That's true. We're going to make sure they ask you next
Let's
time.
say thank you, Mayor. Put my name out there.
And one other thing that's coming up in another week is our great East Brunswick Day, which is one of Jane's favorite days.
Oh, my
I always tease
favorite.
her, other than open houses, and she loves East Brunswick Day. That's one of our favorite days. And it's if you want to talk about that and what that's
That
about.
day is for the community get together.
Yeah, that came about 5-6 years ago. Also, just
and
around
that
the
just
time.
started. Yeah, that's relatively recent. And that's
That
a
one
great,
at the beginning was very small.
It's grown
It
dramatically.
grown so crazy.
analogous with the chamber, right? It started out as small, and then it's like it just kind of grown.
I think people have really desired for the longest time the ability to interact with one another and know what's in the town. So East Brunswick Day is basically about allowing all of the residents from the township to come out and celebrate and be introduced in many instances to businesses that they may not have even know were there. All of the township offices, the schools, different departments are there represented. We've got a lot of houses of worship that will come out, and they're not looking to convert people. They want people to know who they are and explain what their philosophy is and introduce themselves to the community. And
And the fun.
And then you have the
Fun.
fitness people, the karate, the different, different
the stage.
recreational.
Yeah, all of the kids get at some point to go up and do some kind of performance. There's some singers that go up there and dance performances from some of the. I think the Chinese school every year has
and the martial arts usually goes up
which
there,
is great. And then there's an area where we have different food vendors and food trucks that really. The lines are
the first aid responders are there, and the fire
exactly,
and the free gift.
Kids love that.
Kids love that.
Yes, police
and the free gift.
Right?
Tell them they got to be good, or they're going to end up in the police car in jail.
Then you have the vendor. You have the vendors there, the realtors.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, that day is truly the whole community.
Well, it was funny.
Yeah, but it's a fun time because you don't look at people as competitors. You look at everybody as togetherness. You support each other, right? You
realize how big the community.
Community, so there's enough room for everybody to be successful.
Exactly. Last year we were a little rained out for the first time we actually got rained.
Well, let's hope next Sunday the weather is.
I'm hoping because I remember it was the hurricane last year. That's right. So I went. That when we did finally have people setting up the following week, and the trucks were all setting up, so I went around to people and I said, "Wow, isn't this great that we didn't do it last weekend? It would have been like a scene out of My Cousin Vinny when the wheels move and everyone gets mud.
Are blowing.
If you were under 30." They had no idea what I was talking about.
My Cousin Vinny was a great.
They had never seen the movie. It's
a great movie.
God, am I that old?
Yeah, that's a great. It seems like yesterday when it came out, and now it's Unfortunately, we're out of time. We're so happy you're going to join us next week to continue. We're going to talk about the redevelopment. Till then, we hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see everyone next week. Thank you so much, Mayor Cohen, for being our special guest.
Thank you.
Thank you.